This article is about the demographic features of the population of Hungary, including population density, ethnicity, education level, health of the populace, economic status, religious affiliations and other aspects of the population. Population. The population composition of the foundation of Hungary depends on the size of the arriving Hungarian population and the size of the Slavic population at the time. One source mentions 200,000 Slavs and 400,000 Hungarians, while other sources often don't give estimates for both, making comparison more difficult. The size of the Hungarian population around 895 is often estimated between 120,000 and 600,000, with a number of estimates in the 400-600,000 range. Other sources only mention a fighting force of 25,000 Magyar warriors used in the attack, while declining to estimate the total population including women and children and warriors not participating in the invasion. In the historical demographics, the largest earlier shock was the Mongol invasion of Hungary. Several plagues also took a toll on the country's population. According to the demographers, about 80% of the population was made up of Hungarians before the Battle of Mohács. However, the Hungarian ethnic group became a minority in its own country after the Rákóczi War for independence. Major territorial changes made Hungary ethnically homogeneous after World War I. Nowadays, more than 9/10 of the population is ethnically Hungarian and speaks Hungarian as the mother tongue. 900 euro 1910. Note: the data refer to the territory of the Kingdom of Hungary, not of present-day Hungary. Since 1900. The following demographic statistics are from the CIA Factbook as of September 2009, unless otherwise indicated. Age structure: 0 euro 14 years, 15% 15 euro 64 years, 69.3% 65 years and over, 15.8%, sex ratio, at birth, 1.06 male, S/female under 15 years, 1.06 male, S/female 15 euro 64 years, 0.97 male, S/female 65 years and over, 0.57 male, S/female total population, 0.91 male, S/female. Vital statistics, unless otherwise indicated, vital statistics are from the Hungarian Statistical Office. Births and deaths. Infant mortality rate. The infant mortality rate decreased considerably after WW2. In 1949, the IMR was 91.0. The rate decreased to 47.6 in 1960, 35.9 in 1970, 23.2 in 1980, 14.8 in 1990, 9.2 in 2000 and reached an all-time low in 2009, 5.1 per 1,000 live-born children. 35. Total fertility rates. Life expectancy at birth, male, 1990 65.1 years 2001, 68.2 years 2011, 70.9 years female, 1990 73.7 years 2001, 76.5 years 2011, 78.2 years. Ethnic groups and language. Hungary. Before the Treaty of Trianon, Hungary lost 64% of its total population in consequence of the Treaty of Trianon, decreasing from 20.9 million to 7.6 million, and 31% of its ethnic Hungarians. Hungary lost 5 of its 10 most populous cities. According to the census of 1910, the largest ethnic group in the Kingdom of Hungary were Hungarians, who were 54.5% of the population of Kingdom of Hungary, excluding Croatia-Slavonia. Although the territories of the former Kingdom of Hungary that were assigned by the treaty to neighboring states in total had a majority of non-Hungarian population, they also included areas of Hungarian majority and significant Hungarian minorities, numbering 3,318,000 in total. The number of Hungarians in the different areas based on census data of 1910. The present-day location of each area is given in parentheses. In Upper Hungary, 885,000 to 30%, in Transylvania, 1,425,507 to 19.6%, in 253,899 to 3.5%, in Transcarpathia, 183,000 to 30%, in Croatia, 121,000 to 3.5%, in Prekmurje, 14,065 to 15%, in Burgenland, 26,200 to 9%. Non-Hungarian population in the Kingdom of Hungary, based on 1910 census data: Slovaks, Romanians, Ruthenians, Serbs, Croats and Germans, who represented the majority of the populations of the above-mentioned territories. In Upper Hungary, 1,687,977 Slovaks and 1,233,454 others. However, according to the Czechoslovak census in 1921, there were 2,025,003 Slovaks, 650,597 Hungarians, 145,844 Germans, 88,970 Ruthenians and 90,456 others including Jews. In Carpathian Ruthenia, 330,010 Ruthenians and 275,932 others. In Transylvania, 2,831,222 Romanians and 2,431,273 others and Germans, 563,087. The 1919 and 1920 Transylvanian censuses indicate a greater percentage of Romanians and a smaller Hungarian minority. In Vojvodina and Croatia Slavonia, 2,756,000 Croats and Serbs and 1,366,000 others. In Prekmurje, 74,199 Slavens, 14,065 Hungarians, 2,540 Germans. In Burgenland, 217,072 Germans and 69,858 others. Post-Tryon in Hungary, according to the 1920 census, 10.4% of the population spoke one of the minority languages as mother language: 551,212 German, 141,882 Slovak, 23,760 Romanian, 36,858 Croatian, 23,228 Bunjevac and Angstrom Oxy, 17,131 Serb, 7,000 Slavens. The number of bilingual people was much higher. For example, 1,398,729 people spoke German, 399,176 people spoke Slovak, 179,928 people spoke Croatian and 88,828 people spoke Romanian. Hungarian was spoken by 96% of the total population and was the mother language of 89%. The percentage and the absolute number of all non-Hungarian nationalities decreased in the next decades, although the total population of the country increased. After World War II, about 200,000 Germans were deported to Germany according to the decree of the Potsdam Conference. Under the forced exchange of population between Czechoslovakia and Hungary, approximately 73,000 Slovaks left Hungary. After these population movements, Hungary became an ethnically almost homogeneous country except the rapidly growing number of Romani people in the second half of the 20th century. From 1938 to 1945, Hungary expanded its borders into Czechoslovakia, Romania, and Yugoslavia at the outset of the war. These annexations were affirmed under the Munich Agreement, two Vienna Awards, and aggression against Yugoslavia and Carpathian Ruthenia. The population of northern Transylvania, according to the Hungarian census from 1941, counted 53.5% Hungarians and 39.1% Romanians. The territory of Bacska had 789,705 inhabitants, and 45.4% or 47.2% declared themselves to be Hungarian native speakers or ethnic Hungarians. The percentage of Hungarian speakers was 84% in southern Czechoslovakia and 15% in the Sub-Carpathian Rus. After WW2, 1949 to 1990, in communist Czechoslovakia and communist Romania it was quite common to tolerate, or even support patriotism, the idea of the nation-state, so that these recently created or enlarged, multi-ethnic countries would successfully prevent ethnic tensions, something that Moscow definitely did not want. On the contrary, although for the same reasons, in Hungary it was strictly banned to support any person or movement that praised or even just publicly longed back to times when all Hungarians lived in one state. As an outcome of the above, everybody who lived in Hungary was considered to be Hungarian, and all the others as foreign citizens, without any mentionable ties with the motherland, even if they lived just on the other side of the border in an ethnically dominant area. For historical reasons, significant Hungarian minority populations can be found in the surrounding countries, notably in Ukraine, Slovakia, Romania, and Serbia. Austria, Croatia, and Slovenia are also host to a number of ethnic Hungarians, 2001, 2011. Note: in 2001 570,537, in 2011 1,455,883 people did not give answer for ethnicity. Percentages calculated excluding these people. Moreover, people were able to give more than one answer on the question asking for the minorities, hence the sum of the above exceeds the number of population. Methodology had changed in 2001 and 2011 also, so ethnicity results of the censuses are not comparable very well. Historical ethnic groups of Hungary: when the Hungarians invaded the Carpathian Basin, it was inhabited by Slavic and Avar peoples. Written sources from the 9th century also suggest that some groups of Onegars and Bulgars occupied the valley of the river Murray at the time of the Magyars, a Euro unregistered trademark invasion. There is a dispute as to whether Romanian population existed in Transylvania during that time. The Roma minority. The Romani people arrived in Hungary in the 15th century from Turkey. Nowadays, the real number of Roma in Hungary is a disputed question. In the 2001 census only 190,046 called themselves Roma, but experts and Roma organizations estimate that there are between 450,000 and 1 million Roma living in Hungary. Since then, the size of the Roma population has increased rapidly. Today every fifth or sixth newborn child belongs to the Roma minority. Based on current demographic trends, a 2006 estimate by Central European Management Intelligence claims that the proportion of the Roma population will double by 2050, putting the percentage of its Roma community at around 14 to 15% of the country's population. There are problems related to the Roma minority in Hungary, and the very subject is a heated and disputed topic. Objective problems: education, bad chances for work. Slightly more than 80% of Roma children complete primary education, but only one-third continue studies into the intermediate level. This is far lower than the more than 90% proportion of children of non-Roma families who continue studies at an intermediate level. Less than 1% of Roma hold higher educational certificates. Poverty: most of the Roma people live in significantly worse conditions than others. Bad health conditions: life expectancy is about 10 years less compared to non-Romas. Lack of debate regarding the subject: academic researchers and members of the mainstream press disregard any critics and study the subject in the canonical viewpoint. Critics don't have the funds necessary to perform alternative studies. Kabars: 3 Kabar tribes joined to the Hungarians and participated in the Hungarian conquest of Hungary. They settled mostly in Bahor County. Bar paragraphs: Sar paragraph RMA copyrightness. The Muslim Bar paragraphs Sar paragraph RMA copyrightness migrated to the Carpathian Basin in the course of the 10th–12th centuries, and they were composed of various ethnic groups. Most of them must have arrived from Volga, Bulgaria and Khwarezm. Pechenegs: communities of Pechenegs lived in the Kingdom of Hungary from the 11th–12th centuries. They were most numerous in the county of Tolna. Oghuz Turks: smaller groups of Oghuz Turks settlers came to the Carpathian Basin from the middle of the 11th century. They were settled mostly in Barkasagi. The city of Azd got its name after them. Jassics: the Jassic people were a nomadic tribe which settled with their commands in the Kingdom of Hungary during the 13th century. Their name is almost certainly related to that of the Iazyges. Bar copyright Law 4. King of Hungary granted them asylum and they became a privileged community with a right of self-government. During the centuries they were fully assimilated to the Hungarian population, their language disappeared, but they preserved their Jasik identity and their regional autonomy until 1876. Over a dozen settlements in central Hungary still bear their name. Commands. During the Russian campaign, the Mongols drove some 200,000 Commands, a nomadic tribe who had opposed them, west of the Carpathian Mountains. There, the Commands appealed to King Bar Copyright Law 4 of Hungary for protection. In the Kingdom of Hungary, Commands created two regions named Cumania, Greater Cumania and Little Cumania, both located the Great Hungarian Plain. Here, the Commands maintained their autonomy, language and some ethnic customs well into the modern era. According to Parla Kubczai's estimation, originally 70 to 80,000 Commands settled in Hungary. Romanians. The oldest extant documents from Transylvania make reference to Vlachs too. Regardless of the subject of Romanian presence-non-presence in Transylvania prior to the Hungarian conquest, the first written sources about Romanian settlements derive from the 13th century. Record was written about Alatlak village in Bihor County from 1283. The land of Romanians, Taramblacorum, showed up in Fogras, and this area was mentioned under different name in 1285. The first appearance of a supposed Romanian name Ola in Hungary derives from a charter. There was significant population in Transylvania, Banat, Maramureș and registered trademark and Partium. There are different estimations in connection with number of Romanians in Kingdom of Hungary. According to researches based on place names, 511 villages of Transylvania and Banat appear in documents at the end of the 13th century, however only 3 of them bore Romanian names. Around 1400 AD, Transylvania and Banat consisted of 1757 villages, though only 76 of them were Romanian. The number of Romanians started to increase significantly from the early modern period. In 1600 the Romanian inhabitants were primarily peasants, comprising more than 60% of the population. By 1700, the Romanian ethnic group consisted of 40% of the Transylvanian population, and their number raised even more in the 18th century. Jean W. Settler estimates that Vlachs constituted about two-thirds of Transylvania's population in 1241 on the eve of the Mongol invasion. However, according to other researchers, Hungarian ethnic group was in decent majority in Transylvania before Battle of Moacs and only lost its relative majority by the 17th century. Slovaks. The Slovak people lived mainly in Upper Hungary, northern parts of the Kingdom of Hungary. Regions of Vojvodina and Banat, Bar Copyright Car Copyright S County had bigger Slovak groups from the 18th century. After WWII, a major population exchange with Czechoslovakia was carried out, about 73,000 Slovaks were transferred to Slovakia, replaced by an incomparable number of Hungarians. Serbs. From the 14th century, escaping from the Ottoman threat, a large number of Serbs migrated to the Hungarian kingdom. After the Battle of Moacs, most of the territory of Hungary got into Ottoman rule. In that time, especially in the 17th century, many Serb, and other southern Slavic immigrants settled in Hungary. Most of the Ottoman soldiers in the territory of present-day Hungary were South Slavs. After the Turkish withdrawal, Kingdom of Hungary came under Habsburg rule. A new wave of Serb refugees migrated to the area around 1690, as a consequence of the Habsburg-Ottoman War. In the first half of the 18th century, Serbs and South Slavs were ethnic majority in several cities in Hungary. Germans. 3 waves of German migration can be distinguished in Hungary before the 20th century. The first 2 waves of settlers arrived to the Hungarian kingdom in the Middle Ages in Upper Hungary and in southern Transylvania. The third, largest wave of German-speaking immigrants into Hungary occurred after the withdrawal of the Ottoman Empire from Hungarian territory, after the Treaty of Karlowitz. Between 1711 and 1780, German-speaking settlers immigrated to the regions of southern Hungary, mostly region of Bánati, Bar-Székesbudrog, Baranya and Tolna counties, which had been depopulated by the Ottoman Wars. At the end of the 18th century, the Kingdom of Hungary contained over 1 million German-speaking residents. In 2011, 131,951 people declared to be German in Hungary. Rusines had lived mostly in Carpathian Ruthenia, northeast Hungary, however significant Rusine population appeared in Vojvodina from the 18th century. Croatia was in personal union with Hungary from 1102. Croat communities were spread mostly in the western and southern part of the country and along the Danube, including Budapest. The Poles lived at the northern borders of Kingdom of Hungary from the arrival of the Hungarians. The Slavons lived in the western part of the Carpathian Basin before the Hungarian conquest. In the 11th and 12th century, the current linguistic and ethnic border between the Hungarian and Slovene people was established. Nowadays, they live in Vendvida Copyright K between the Mura and the Raba rivers. In 2001, there were around 5,000 Slavons in Hungary. Jews. The first historical document about Jews of Hungary is the letter written about 960 to King Joseph of the Khazars by Arstei ibn Shaprut, the Jewish statesman of Kar-Doba, in which he says Jews living in the country of Hungarin. Armenians. The first Armenians came to Hungary from the Balkans in the 10–11th century. Greeks migrated to Kingdom of Hungary from the 15th and 16th centuries. Mass migrations did not occur until the 17th century, the largest waves being in 1718 and 1770. They were primarily connected to the economic conditions of the period. It is estimated that 10,000 Greeks emigrated to Hungary in the second half of the 18th century. Bulgarians. The town of Szentendre and the surrounding villages were inhabited by Bulgarians since the Middle Ages. However, present-day Bulgarians are largely descended from gardeners who migrated to Austria-Hungary from the 18th century. Foreign population. Religion. The majority of Hungarians became Christian in the 11th century. Hungary remained predominantly Catholic until the 16th century, when the Reformation took place and, as a result, first Lutheranism, then soon afterwards Calvinism, became the religion of almost the entire population. In the second half of the 16th century, however, Jesuits led a successful campaign of counter-reformation among the Hungarians, although Protestantism survived as the faith of a significant minority. Orthodox Christianity in Hungary has been the religion mainly of some national minorities in the country, notably Romanians, Rusines, Ukrainians, and Serbs. Faith Church, one of Europe's largest Pentecostal churches, is also located in Hungary. Hungary has historically been home to a significant Jewish community. According to 2011 census data, Christianity is the largest religion in Hungary, with around 5.2 million adherents, while the largest religion in Hungary is Catholicism. There is a significant Calvinist minority and smaller Lutheran, Orthodox and Jewish minorities. However, these census figures are representative of religious affiliation rather than practice. Fewer than 12% of Hungarians attend religious services at least once a week and fewer than 50% at least once a year, while 30% of Hungarians do not believe in God. The census showed a large drop of religious adherents, from 74.6% to 54.7% in 10 years' time, replacing them by people either who do not wish answer or people who are not following a religion. Largest cities, see also. Hungarian diaspora, demographics of the Kingdom of Hungary, history of Hungary, demographic history of Crimea, majorization, notes. References, KSH, Vital Statistics, 1960 to 2012. External links, Hungarian Central Statistical Office.